Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Dhiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 3, Rishabhadev's appearance, and Shloka number 8. Atmanam evanu savanam anjasa vyatirekena bo bhuyamana shesha purushartha swarupasya kintu natha shisha asasa nanam etad abhisam abhisamradhana matram bhavitum arhati. Okay, word to word meaning. Atmanaha, self-sufficiency. Eva, certainly. Anusavanam, at every moment. Anjasa, directly. Avyatirekhena, without stopping. Bobhuyamana, increasing. Ashesha, unlimitedly. Purusha Artha, the goals of life. Swarupasya, your actual identity. Kintu, but. Natha, O Lord. Ashishaha, benedictions for material enjoyment. Ashasananam, offers who are always desiring. Etat, this. Abhisamradhana, for getting your mercy. Matram, only. Bhavitum arhati, can be. All of one's translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation: all of life's goal and opulence are directly, self-sufficiently, unceasingly and unlimitedly increasing in you at every moment. Indeed, you are ultimate, unlimited enjoyment and blissful existence itself. As far as we are concerned, O Lord, we are always after material enjoyment. You do not need all these sacrificial arrangements, but they are meant for us so that we may be benedicted by your Lordship. All these sacrifices are performed for our fruitive results, and they are not actually needed by you. Purport: being self-sufficient, the Supreme Lord does not need huge sacrifices. Fruitive activities for a more opulent life is for those who desire such material opulence for their interest. Yajnartat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. If we do not act to satisfy the Supreme Lord, we engage in Maya's activities. We may construct a gorgeous temple and spend thousands of dollars, but such a temple is not required by the Lord. The Lord has many millions of temples for His residence, and He does not need our attempt. He does not require opulent activity at all. Such engagement is meant for our benefit. If we engage our money in constructing a gorgeous temple, we are freed from the reactions of our endeavors. This is for our benefit. In addition, if we attempt to do something nice for the Supreme Lord, He is pleased with us and gives us His benediction. In conclusion, the gorgeous arrangements are not for the Lord's sake, but for our own. If we somehow or other receive blessings and benedictions from the Lord, our consciousness can be purified and we can become eligible to return home back to Godhead. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guraho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So here, in continuation with yesterday's topic, we have a similar topic. And yesterday, we had a very wonderful description of this particular, aspect, that Lord doesn't need, all these things what we are doing. It is for, our benefit. And like yesterday's topic was like Lord doesn't need all these things. He's just simply satisfied with the simple things actually. So, and then also like the devotion in the whole thing, that is what is the most important thing than the ingredients themselves. So here we see, like in today's shloka, it is mentioned all of life's goals and opulence. So these two things, life's goals and opulence, are directly, self-sufficiently, unceasingly and unlimitedly increasing in you at every moment. So what are the life's goals? So here in this one, Purusha Artha. What are the Purusha Artha? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and then finally the Prema. So like all these things which is there. So it is unlimitedly there in Supreme Lord, and it is the Lord is the origin of all of them. So there is no other source apart from the Lord, for all of them. So that is why directly and self-sufficiently is there, and unceasingly and unlimitedly. So it is, we know at least of the this one, the last Purushartha. So that is the Panchama Purushartha. So that is Prema, Prema. So that we know, like Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam. So every day, like we chant that particular thing. So all the opulences, whatever is there, the Lord's opulence is not fixed. Lord's opulence is unlimited, and also it is ever expanding actually. And so like why they are describing all these things? Because you are so rich, what is that we are going to offer to you? Like it will be like puny things like that we will be offering to you. So like you are not in need of this. Why you are not in need of it? Like because you are having unlimited stuff. So why will you need something small that we are offering? So indeed you are unlimited. You are unlimited enjoyment and blissful existence itself. So like we know that the Lord is Raso Vai Saha. So who is He? Saha means like He. Like Raso Vai Saha. Like He is Rasa, or He is the like different kinds of mellows. Like the Lord is an ocean of Rasa. So like that is why He is called as Rasika Shekhar, and then He is called in many different wonderful names in relation to this. So He is like always engaged in the pastimes with His dear devotees. And then blissful existence itself. So blissful existence means, what is the Vedanta Sutra which talks about it? Anandamaya Abhyasat, right? So like the Lord is like condensed form of bliss and enjoyment. He is having unlimited rasas, and He is having unlimited bliss in His personality, and it is ever like increasing. Right? So as far as we are concerned, so this is the position of the Lord, the priests are mentioning, and as far as we are concerned, oh Lord, we are always after material enjoyment, which is, what is the nature of material enjoyment? So it is Adi Antavan, this one is there, and any other description of material enjoyment? So like it has a beginning and it has an end to it, and then it is like it gives, it produces from the contact of senses and sense objects, right? So the material enjoyment, it is not self-sufficient, it requires the contact of senses and sense objects. So whereas the Lord's enjoyment is like, it is there within Him, like He is the source of all the enjoyment. So like always we mentioned the shloka, Sukharupa Sukhadara. So that particular this one. So like He is the source of all the happiness, whereas He is enjoying in that way. And the living entity, he can never get happiness on his own. So either he has to get happiness through the touch of material nature, or he has to get the happiness through the touch of the spiritual nature. So he has to be under the shelter of one of the natures of the Lord. And if he is there in the touch of spiritual nature, so because he is in touch with the Lord directly, it's almost as good as being in touch with the Lord directly. So he is like, Lord is unlimitedly happy, and this person is also like not dipped into happiness. And when he is in touch with the material nature, so because its nature is, no, it is kept far away from the Lord, no, binna prakriti. So because it is separated from the Lord, so because of lack of contact, no, with the Lord, so like he is not able to derive that happiness. No, whereas as no little bit of happiness that comes, no, by the contact of senses and sense objects, so that has a beginning and end, and that is quite miserable. So it only appears to be happiness in the beginning, and it always ends up to be a misery. So this is how the material happiness actually works. So it always promises a lot, and then it delivers. No, delivers, not even delivers like no little, it delivers negative. So that is why it is mentioned that that shloka Prabhupada often quotes, Kama adinam katina katita palita durnidesha tesham jatamai na karuna pashanti. No, so it is like I have served these, no, kama adinam, kama krodha lobha moha mada and matsarya for many lifetimes, and they have been a very what is that, I have very nicely served them. No, even if they kicked me on the face, no, even if they did anything with me, I have like loyally served them. But then they are very like bad masters. They have not given me even one day holiday, you know. And it is like there is like he always promises, you do this, I'll give you happiness, and I keep doing it, happiness dies. You know, only in the anticipation that the next activity that I'll do, no, I may get some happiness. That is, the anticipation is the only happiness. No, if I do this thing, no, I'll become happy. So the happiness in the material things always lies on the contemplation. The moment I go there, no, everything is finished, right? So, and then it actually proves to be false. So in this way, like we see that this, no, we are always after material enjoyment, so which is no adi antavat, and then which is coming in, no, coming because of sparsha. So, and you do not need all these sacrificial arrangements, but they are meant for us so that we may be benefited by your lordship, benedicted by your lordship. All these sacrifices are performed for our fruitive results, and they are not actually needed by you. So when these fruitive results, sacrifices for fruitive results means it is karma yoga, and in any of the yoga systems, the factor, the purification factor comes from the touch of Krishna. So now they are doing to get some fruitive result, and they are doing all this sacrifice. So like they also know, like the priests, though they are like admitting themselves that they are doing a karma kandi, sacrifice. So, but they know very much that because we are attached to the result, we are performing this sacrifice. We could have got this result in any ways, but then we agreed upon to perform a sacrifice which is meant to please the Lord. So through that, I will get my fruitive results, but the process, in the process, I will become purified. So I am in touch with Krishna, so I will become purified. So like when I am completely caught up in the material modes of nature, and then like I am desiring for something fruitive, so even then somehow or other we should be dharmic. We should never go into adharmic side. So when we go into adharmic side, so then the material nature will pull us deep into it. So but if we are dharmic, so then by touch of Krishna, so even if we are working for fruitive results, some level of little purification will keep happening, and that will give us a good opportunity to meet with liberated personalities, and from there a person can become serious in devotional service, right? So it is quite amazing. Like these people are pious people, and they are God conscious people, and when they are performing sacrifice, and because of a great devotee like Nabi was present, the priest was not that much, but the person who is performing the yajna, like he is a nice devotee, the Lord agreed to come upon in this one, and Lord agreed to become, he will agree to become his son also. So like because of that, all these people who are doing fruitive this one, and who are engaged in yajna, so they are also getting benefit. So like somehow or other, when we are in the dharmic path, like we will somehow or other meet some nice devotees, and from them we will get some real seed of Krishna consciousness, and we can actually proceed in like doing intense devotional service. So, like in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning, being self-sufficient, the Supreme Lord does not need huge sacrifices. So we know this sloka, Atma Ramascha Munayo Nirgante Api Urukrama. So like he is Atma Ramas, he doesn't require anything, for himself. So many times people ask, like, why you are burning so much of ghee and oil in the temple, or why you are doing so much opulent worship, itna sara, like Janmashtami kiya with so many flowers, like the devotee circle or in the temples, different temples, they'll discussing that we spent 10 lakhs in flowers, we spent 5 lakhs in flowers, flower decoration and things like that. And atheist hears this, अरे 5 लाख उड़ाया आपने खाली फूल में, and then that would have, next day it will get, what is that, it will become tried. So just for one day event, you have spent so much money. So this one. So, and if they read this thing, the Lord doesn't need any of these things. They will become completely mad. These भक्त लोग पागल हो गए, पैसा लेके जाके भगवान पे फेंकते हैं और भगवान को चाहिए ही नहीं, So then we see that fruitive activity for a more opulent life is for those who desire such material opulence for their interest, right? So when people want, like to do something, so that usage, like whatever we are, trying to do, that should be done for the Lord. So then, it becomes, we become free from the karmic reaction. Yajnartat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Anyway, this person will do something. Let him do for the Lord. So liberated souls like Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, so they did not bother to like do any of these things. So they were simply like engaged in their intense devotional service. So but then when they wanted to engage people, so like some big merchant came, ठीक है, like you build some, वैसे पैसा है, इधर यूज नहीं करेंगे तो बड़ा मकान बनाएंगे, so better you build some nice temple for Krishna, right? So and then like people can be engaged in the worship, and festivals can be made, like so that so many people can be engaged and their senses can be engaged positively in Krishna's service. With all these things, the benefit is the person who is engaged in the service of the Lord, Rishikena Rishikesu Sevanam. So that becomes bhakti, and because of that bhakti, like they become purified of their senses, and then they advance in Krishna consciousness, right? So if we do not act to satisfy the Supreme Lord, we engage in Maya's activities. So like, I was asking, we were apologizing to our Amaglila Prabhu that, Prabhu, sorry, like we have squeezed, so much, like we have kept so much tight schedule for you. So then he was telling that, squeeze kar le, like, nahi to Maya squeeze karegi. So it was like such an amazing thing. The same statement, whatever is here. So in a practical way, like a devotee in a very simple way, like he's expressing the same thing. So if we do not act to satisfy the Supreme Lord, we engage in Maya's activities, So Prabhupada in the preface also gives this very simple this one. So one should understand 4 things. What is the 4 things? Like what is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. So simple truths of life. So what are the simple truths of life? We are part and parcel of Krishna. We are meant to engage in Krishna's service. And if we, is that? No, Krishna is Supreme Lord and we are part and parcel of Krishna. No, we are meant to be engaged in Krishna's service. If we don't engage in Krishna's service, we will be engaged in Maya's service in many different forms. So this, like, I'm not able to, we can actually take this, this one. It's very nice statement to meditate upon. Like Prabhupada mentions that, people don't know this very simple truths of Bhagavad Gita. So like it is mentioned that unfortunately, mundane wranglers have taken advantage of Bhagavad Gita to push forward their demonic propensities and mislead people regarding right understanding of the simple principles of life. Everyone should know how God or Krishna is great, and everyone should know the factual position of the living entities. Everyone should know that a living entity is eternally servant, and unless one serves Krishna, one has to serve illusion in different varieties of 3 modes of material nature, and thus wander perpetually within the cycle of birth and death, right? So Even the so-called liberated Mayavadi speculator has to go undergo this process. This knowledge constitutes a great science, and each and every living entity has to hear it for his own interest. So this is a very nice way. Like Prabhupada has been very consistent in this particular this one, that if we don't act to satisfy the Supreme Lord, so then we will act to satisfy material nature. So that is why if somebody has got some intelligence, some capacity, so that should be used nicely in Krishna's service. If not, Maya will engage that activity, that propensity. And Prabhupada is mentioning here, we may construct a gorgeous temple and spend thousands of dollars, but such a temple is not required by the Lord. As we previously discussed, Krishna is Atmaram, so Krishna doesn't require any of these things. It is only for the devotees' sake. The Lord has many millions of temples for his residence, and he does not need our attempt. So this is also a very nice meditation in terms of service to keep us humble, that like what is the use of my service? Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambrama Sevya Mano. So many Lakshmi Jis are rendering faultless service to Krishna, and my service is still contaminated with the modes of nature. Right, so one of my superiors was mentioning this particular example, that our service is like sweet rice, offering sweet rice to Krishna, and like our contaminated consciousness, when we render service, so the sweet rice is mixed with sand particles. So when our consciousness becomes pure, like which is the shloka? Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. So Sarva, giving up all the upadis and then becoming purified, and with the purified senses when we render service to Krishna. So like Mesini was mentioning this point, that with the purified senses when we render service to Krishna, so then that service is like pure sweet rice offered to Krishna. So when impure senses are there, so that time when we offer service to Krishna, it is only mixed with sand. And Krishna mercifully accepts that. Why he accepts that? Just to purify us. Like just in anticipation, like one day he will offer nice sweet rice, and he just accepts. Like itna de par acha like bahut acha. Like he accepts it just for the sake of like the purification of the living entity. Otherwise, even if we offer pure sweet rice also, like then like a sadhaka in the intermediate stage, he is humble, saying like I am not offering a fit service to Krishna, but still Krishna is accepting, just for my purification. And in the purified state, like I am offering this small sweet rice, like, but he is in the midst of ocean of sweet rice. So many people, so many liberated souls are offering like service to Krishna. So what is the use of my small service? Still the liberated souls are also, they are also remaining in the in a humble mood, because their service, the quantum of service is like so small and like in comparison to the ocean of service that is offered by so many so many other devotees of the Lord. And on top of it, like all this service is offered for the pleasure of Krishna, and Krishna derives pleasure from himself. He is Atmarama. So like considering all these things, everyone in the service of Krishna remains humble. It is for the sake of, I am a part and parcel of Krishna. What is the use of this part if it doesn't render some service to Krishna? So like it has to be used in service of Krishna. So that is a mood in which like a devotee offers service to Krishna, and Krishna mercifully becomes pleased with that service, right? And then he does not require opulent activity at all. Like such engagement is meant for our benefit. If we engage our money in constructing a gorgeous temple, we are freed from the reactions of our endeavors. So like it is an opportunity. Krishna actually devises means. So otherwise there is no way to engage in the service of the Lord. Like on our own, whatever activities we do, so it is all meant for like it is all meant for material sense gratification. So there is some way for the living entity to go back to the spiritual world. There is some opportunity for service is required. So Lord creates varieties of opportunities for service for the living entities, and this is for our benefit. In addition, if we attempt to do something nice for the Supreme Lord, He is pleased with us and gives us His benedictions. Right? So that is how the Lord, like He doesn't require anything, just to give us benediction. ठीक है, like कुछ तो कर ले, like I'll give you some benediction, like that. So it is such a nice disposition of the Lord. In conclusion, the gorgeous arrangements are not for the Lord's sake, but for our own. So when we study the statement, so we know in light of the previous statements we can understand. So we are doing it for Yajna Artha. No, we are doing it for His pleasure, but actually it is meant for us, because when He becomes pleased, we will become purified, right? So is He in need of our offering pleasure? No, He is like Atmarama. He is fully satisfied within Himself. So He is not in need of we giving some pleasure to Him. So, but still, He accepts that service from us so that we become purified, and not the Lord is in need of that particular activity, right? So, if we somehow or other receive blessings and benedictions from the Lord, our consciousness can be purified and we can become eligible to return home back to God, right? So, somehow or other, like if we render some service to Krishna and Krishna becomes pleased, so we become purified, and then then we become dear to Krishna. So in this particular way, so we can actually return home back to Godhead. So I pause here today's discussion. Any questions or comments can you take? Yes, Paul.
Sometimes also told yesterday's class we discussed with Prabhuji, sometimes also God will accept the bhav. In the bhav house also He will accept something, whatever we have done. Today also we are feeling like He is not accepting for our own education. How that difference?
No, both are same only, no? So the Lord, not sometimes, always He accepts bhav only. So He is bhavagrahi. So He takes the devotion. So now we see in today's this one it is mentioned that these kind of gorgeous arrangements are not required for the Lord, because He is already satisfied. So if He is already satisfied, so what is that we are able to offer to Him? So our devotion to Him, our mood of devotion to Him, so that is what we are offering, and we are packaging that with some service. Jadu pocha karte hain, it is not the jadu pocha itself, it is the devotion that we are offering to Krishna. Or if we are building a temple, it is the devotion that we are offering to Krishna. So because Krishna already has many temples, why is he in need of another this one? So it is He accepts the mood of this one. So that is one angle. So yesterday we discussed. So it is a mango is there. So it is some portion it is red and some portion it is full yellow, and we should relish describing all the different colors and aspects of that. So yesterday we discussed we relished this particular aspect, that Krishna is bhavagrahi, and today we are seeing this particular aspect that He is accepting for our purification. So so this is another this one. So this multifacets are there. So Krishna's devotion, Krishna is also multifaceted, and devotional service is also multifaceted. So we cannot possibly describe all the things in one shot. If we describe one thing, that only in that only we will finish all our time, and we will not be able to. And also we can relish each and every aspect of devotional service very nicely, right? So when we put focus on one thing, so we just dive deep into it, and then so much of depth in that particular aspect itself, Yeah.
So we become purified when the Lord is pleased. So the process of bhakti itself is very powerful. So when the person does bhakti, irrespective of his mood, is he pleasing or not? So will the person get purified?
So this is it's a nice question. So when the Lord becomes pleased, we become purified. And the another aspect is the process of bhakti itself is so purifying. So the person gets benefited. So always we discuss about this aspect of range of this one. We discuss about this aspect of Srinivasa wines too, and a person who is intensely performing bhajan without committing any offenses. So chanting the names of the Lord is an aspect of bhakti, Shravanam and Kirtanam. So that Shravanam and Kirtanam which is done without any, without any following rules and regulations, without avoiding offenses, still it is powerful. It is powerful to make him enter into devotional service. So once he enters into devotional service, then he has to follow certain rules and regulations. That will allow him to go a little more deeper. And then he has to give up certain other anarthas, and follow a little more this one. So then the like prema, to get prema it is like very very stringent. When all the parameters are right, then only we get prema, like that. So entrance is, yeah, the bhakti is so powerful, it can allow a person to enter into the realm of bhakti, so like the devotional activities. But then to perfect, it requires much more this one. So we need to avoid offenses. Otherwise, like spiritual master would not take an oath like this. So bhakti is very powerful. Kaisa bhi like naam jap karte raho. No, bhakti is very powerful, but you have to avoid offenses to like get the full benefit of it. So morning also we mentioned this statement that after 10 offenses, what do we say? Every devotee claims to be a Vaishnava should guard against these 10 offenses in order to achieve Krishna Prema very quickly, right? So this is the whole essence. So bhakti is very powerful. So till the time offenses are there, we will get little bit resemblance of bhakti out of it. So that power can also purify us to some extent. But these offenses are the only thing which is blocking us between us and Krishna. So this is the major thing that is there. So if that is removed, so then the bhakti will act full force upon the living entity, right? So then the living entity can become purified very nicely. So that is why the morning program very nicely arranged, that perform bhakti, avoid offenses. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also in many places, no simple statement like, when somebody asks like, what should I do? Just chant the holy names and avoid offenses, or render service to the Vaishnavas and avoid offenses. So this is how Mahaprabhu used to say. So this bhakti is very powerful, but it should be coupled with avoiding offenses. So these two things are quite important. So like our whatever is the oath taken at the point of initiation is a condensed form of our philosophy. So like really really condensed form of philosophy. If these two things are done, chant the holy names and avoid offenses. Like everything is there. And usko vistar kar sakte hain, like whatever services we are doing, it's all the expansion of this simple philosophy that is given to us. Does it answer? Any other questions?
So basically, when the Lord is pleased, the person will completely be pleased.
And even if aparadh is there, still the Lord manages to become pleased. so we become purified. So that is the nature of the Lord. Like the Lord is eagerly waiting for the living entity to come back. So galti se bhi kuch to kar lo, I'll purify you. So like that, the Lord is very eager, to purify the living entity. So it is like, if there is a master who is like very 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 difficult to please him, so that is very means that's one scenario. Another scenario is like a teacher, two different teachers. A teacher is determined somehow or other find marks and reduce marks and make him failed. So that is one kind of teacher. Another teacher is like, अरे like ये तो कुछ तो लिखो, like मैं इधर उधर कुछ तो mark दे के pass कर दूंगा तुमको. The Lord is like that, कुछ तो लिखो, like mark दे के pass कर दूंगा तुमको. So like that, the Lord's mood is like that. कितना दिन like तुम इधर बिताओगे, like आ जाओ. So like that, the Lord's mood is somehow or other give some marks and get him, like that. Okay. So sharing points.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So this point that we should engage our capacities in service of Lord, else Maya will engage us. So yesterday I was speaking to one devotee, so we were discussing on this point. So a little bit of some activity of Maya, we do, and she will just suck in the person. So it's up to us, how to or what to choose basically. So should we choose Krishna or should we choose Maya? And same thing happens with Krishna also. When we choose Krishna, he will also get in, as a small particle, and then he expands. But then when it comes to Lord Krishna, he will not force the person. If the devotee is praying, then the Lord will reciprocate accordingly. But Maya is not like that. She just enters and without our.
One thing, you remember that shloka of Krishna forcing?
In Anichana.
If the devotee is sincere, then the Lord, by any means, will just
drag the devotee back home. Yes. Yes. Then the point that I was making was the Maya will suck in the person, and then he'll be lost or something like that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for the class. So you mentioned that when a person is dharmic, somehow or the other, even if he has material desires, he will meet a devotee, and he'll get some mercy. So that makes a lot of sense to me. This piety definitely attracts mercy. Those people who are pious, they are naturally more respectful to saintly people, and there is a more chance that they will respect them and invite them to the house and take a book, and in that way their fortune will get created. So it makes a lot of sense to be dharmic, and though for those who are not dharmic, for them Srila Prabhupada is there.
Just one anecdote. Just remember. So one of my Guru Maharaj lectures I was hearing that so when they would go to different villages, so they would ask who is the most dharmic person in this village, and like they will ask like no somebody who's the big person and things like that, and they'll go and ask who is the most dharmic person in this village. Of course, no, I'm the most dharmic person. No, like why are you asking? So then they'll say like, see, like we have come to this village. No, we'll have to do our sankirtan and our class and things like that and all, but we cannot have food in adharmic people. No, like we'll have food only in the dharmic people's house, and that too like no. Like we will only cook our this one, so we want the groceries. So then, no, come, you come to our home, and they'll give all the groceries, and no, so they will have nice this one, and then like no, see for this one our pravachan and things like that we need pandal and this one and all. So like nice pandal is put, and all the villagers are called, and big festival is held and things like that. You remember like long back I heard this like lecture. So this is like nice this one to ask, who is the most dharmic person in this place? So nice to engage with them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You mentioned Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. It's very important to systematically, and even as a matter, sometimes even as a matter of force, we should learn the patient art of trying to engage our senses in the service of Krishna, hoping that one day we will spontaneously engage. You mentioned that devotees always think that the whatever service I'm doing is very insignificant, very small, and that's the way to render Krishna consciousness. And a devotee does not has any option also, because Krishna is Atmaram. He doesn't need any service from us. So this very aspect of Krishna being Atmaram, I feel, is meant for making a devotee humble also, because he doesn't need anything, but still he is accepting. Plus, this also reminds me of the extremely inconceivable reciprocal nature of the Lord. If I'm not hungry, if somebody gives me something, I'll not take. But the Lord is not hungry, but whenever someone with little bit of love and affection, the Lord will immediately take. So nobody can be a better friend than Lord. I was just meditating on this.
Yesterday's point of like, he has unlimited appetite.
Yeah, he has unlimited appetite. And you mentioned service opportunities are created by the Lord to bestow mercy upon us only. This reminded me of the Ram Setu pastime. The Bhagavatam says Lord Ram didn't need any help. He could have just evaporated the ocean by his glance. But he took 1 month time and allowed the monkeys and the soldiers to make the Ram Setu. Thank you very much. You ended the lecture by saying that all services which we do is an expansion of our endeavor to sincerely chant and avoid offenses. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the class. So, the happiness in the material things only in contemplation. Only in the contemplation. That is one point I really like it. And then the simple truth. Krishna is a supreme Lord, and we are part and parcel. That is a constitutional position, and we are here mean to engage in Krishna service. and then otherwise Maya will engage us. So, so we have to engage ourselves somehow in the service of the Lord so that we can purify. So I have one question related to this. What should be the devotee's endeavor to quickly purify themselves? Meaning, keep on increasing the service or something like that. I just want to know this.
So, like initially, like the devotee has this one that we have to become purified and things like that. So over a period of time, the focus shifts to offering pleasure to Krishna. Like initially, I have to become purified, so I have to serve Krishna. So like slowly it will get shifted that now Krishna will relish this particular thing, like that. So then it is a very good advancement, very nice advancement. Naturally, if a devotee starts thinking that this I'm doing this for pleasure of Krishna, so like that, it is in that way, like slowly that shift will happen in the consciousness. So that's advancement of consciousness actually. So when that happens, then the purification happens much faster. So when we are behind purification, purification will happen little. So when we are behind Krishna's satisfaction, the purification will happen very faster. Actually, in somehow Krishna's creation everywhere it is triangle actually. If we want something, we have to perform sacrifice to Vishnu, and Vishnu will order the demigods, and demigods will supply. If we want purification, like first of all, like we should try to satisfy Krishna, and then Krishna will offer purification. But then if we go behind purification, then the purification is very little. But if we focus on Krishna's satisfaction more, so then the purification becomes very much. So always whatever we are supposed to get, like, and then for that what we are supposed to do, it's always two different things. Like even in this one also, job also, we see that we want salary, but like we cannot directly access salary, we have to do work, and then the boss will become pleased and he will put salary like that. And a person who is behind salary, who is always calculating, the boss will be very calculated. He is behind money only. The person who is doing delivering good quality of work, he will get promotion after promotion even if he doesn't want. So like that, this is also like when we are and this is possible by advancement in Krishna consciousness. One thing is we cannot do this thing by force. We like by the blessings of the Lord, we will get this mood that I have to do this for the satisfaction of the Lord. And when that mood comes, then the other aspect becomes a side benefit. Purification becomes a side benefit actually for the devotee.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for a nice nourishing class. So few points which I would like to take on. So spirit soul always wants to be happy. So to be happy, either it has to take the shelter of Maya or Krishna. So if it is taking shelter of Krishna, then the bliss is complete and it's full. But when doing material activities, the only happiness is anticipation that I may get happiness, but actually there is no happiness. After committing that act, it's only distress. And this is a very nice point for me, meditating and repeating. You were mentioning this sweet rice example. So Krishna accepts that. So sometimes when I get some little salt particle in prasadam, I get a lot of agitated, small particle. So saying Krishna, how much are dust particles we had in the sweet rice, our service is simply accepting. So this indicates how Krishna is anxious, hankering to get back to us. So what I am hankering, am I hankering or not? This is a nice meditation for me and to practice. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, nice class. So I can say like one point, like whatever we are doing some opulent things towards gods, only to like just purify us, it is also free from the karmic reactions. It is free from karmic reactions. Yeah, those things. Hare Krishna.
Shruji, thank you so much for a very nice class. A few points that I noted down. You spoke about about how the living entity must, at any point, must be under the shelter of either the material nature or the spiritual nature. Being in touch with the material nature, one will always experience only misery at the end. Whereas being in touch with the spiritual energy, which is non-different from the Lord Himself, and the Lord being
the source of unlimited bliss and happiness, that living entity will also experience the same unlimited. The Lord's opulences are unlimited and ever expanding, and the living entity will also experience the same pleasure. And you spoke about how merciful the nature of the Lord is, where our services may be contaminated, yet the Lord is mercifully and He accepts it. And this way we are getting purified. Eventually, one day we may get purified and offer pure devotional service to the Lord. And the Lord does not require our services. He is Atmarama. He is full of. He is fully satisfied. But still, the Lord has given us all these opportunity, plenty of opportunity for us to serve Him. And all we have to do is just grab these opportunities that we have and purify ourselves and go back home, back to our original position. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, आपने बताया कि माया का जिस कोई भी हम सर्विस कर रहे हैं तो माया क्या करता है कि हाँ ये करो तो आपको प्लेजर मिलेगा, बट वो नहीं मिलता है। फिर दूसरा कुछ कर रहे हैं उसमें मिलेगा, नहीं मिलता है। बट स्पिरिचुअल एक्टिविटीज़ में ऐसा होता है कि हम जो भी सर्विस करते हैं उसमें आपको हैप्पीनेस मिलेगा, फिर हम और भी ढूंढते हैं। और क्योंकि आप बता रहे जैसे आनंदम बुद्धिवर्धनम, तो स्पिरिचुअल एक्टिविटीज़ ऐसा है कि हमेशा आनंद बढ़ता रहता है। तो हम आनंद सेम सिचुएशन में आनंद मिलता है, फिर भी हम हैंकरिंग करते हैं और भी हमको चाहिए, हम प्लेजर चाहिए। और भगवान का पास सारी चीज़ है, बट फिर भी हमसे वो सर्विस एक्सेप्ट करते हैं, क्योंकि वो चाहते हैं कि हम उनका सर्विस करके हमारा प्यूरिफिकेशन हो जाए और हम उनका पास चले जाए।
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So as you mentioned that material happiness, only anticipation is the only happiness when we contemplate, and that is also temporary. Where it's spiritual happiness, the Lord is the source of all happiness, and that keeps on increasing. And whatever services we do, like building gorgeous temple or doing everything, that is for our own purification, and Lord is not hankering after that. And Lord is so merciful that even if we, like, just like you gave the example, that even if we offer service with contaminated consciousness, just like offering sweet rice with sand, so Lord somehow manages to accept it also and get pleased by it, and thereby purify us. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, as per the lecture, you told that Lord just want basically our bhava of the service, our devotion. And Achyuta Prabhu also discussed about the Ram Setu. So it reminds me one of the incident. So as per Ramayana, Valmiki Ramayana, when the monkeys were constructing the bridge, so there was few squirrels who were throwing some sands into the ocean. Then Hanumanji came and said to those squirrels that it's not going to help the sand which you're throwing. Then Lord Rama take those squirrels and said that they are also similar deals to me as the monkeys who are throwing big stones. So it's my next.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, like how we can remain humble, you were mentioning before taking about during the service. Like we should always think that it is my need, like that I should be given opportunity to serve, and I will get benefited. Like Lord is already having everything, and so many devotees are offering so many things, and He's already Atmaram also. So if I meditate on this, then we can remain humble in all circumstances which come up.
An aspect which I found very relatable is that the material enjoyment is always in the contemplation. Whenever after the material enjoyment ends, we don't find the satisfaction which we anticipated before. That is one thing. And the next thing is about how merciful the Lord is. Even if you offer sweet rice and it has sands, it is not enjoyable for us, but Lord accepts it out of His mercy so that we can get purified. Hare Krishna. Thank you.